Okay, everyone, I'm doing a sound check right now. I know you don't see me, but I am here. And if you can hear me, if you could let me know. I got to turn my sound off on my laptop or we'll have an echo. I see a few people are watching. Jay and Don, Juliet, again, just type in, yes, you can hear me. And then I will go sit in the hot seat. All right, thank you, Martha, appreciate it. I'm now going to carry my laptop over here and kind of reorganize it over here. And there we go. Hello, everyone, and let me try to get centered. I'm trying something a little different setup tonight, so I hope it all works. I'm glad those of you that are watching came to see how bees can be woven into fabric. And I want to tell you a little bit about why this came to be. I started weaving sheep and bunnies and other things after I saw some patterns in a booklet that's basically out of print by Nellie Burnham. And I really got involved in it, and I decided maybe I can do some things on my own. So some of you have already seen the things. And what I'd like to show you is that everything I'm going to show you, hold up right now, can be woven on the same threading if you have an 8-shaft loom. So of course we have our bunnies. We have sheep. Another popular one are cats. And then during Easter time, or not Easter time, well, it could be Easter time or Christmas or Hanukkah, maybe some angels. And then I also had some shamrocks. And one of my favorites is little trees. I can do all different colors. And then more recently, someone asked me also if I could weave wine glasses. So we have wine glasses. And I also adapted a pattern for drop spindles. So all of those things can be woven on this loom using a method called Overshot. Now, since I'm talking to you, if you have any questions, just type them in and I'll try to get to them. If I don't get to them during the live, I will try to answer all of them after I go off camera, so to speak. I'm going to now focus onto the loom, and we're going to talk a little bit about Overshot and what it's all about. So hang in there, everyone. All right. What we have now in front of us is kind of a traditional overshot pattern. And I want to start here just to give you an idea of how this works. Now, unfortunately, I did not weave this. It's something another person wove. And a traditional overshot often is the background is white, and then you have the green on this one, just green or red or whatever. But what it is if you notice that a lot of these greens are all in the same, what we call in the same shed. And then there's white. The white is what locks those into place. If that wasn't there, it's a tabby or a plain weave, then all of these would just come out and it wouldn't be a pattern at all. So this is a traditional one, and what I've done with all the little patterns is basically using the same process, just a little bit do. Unfortunately, no, you can do overshot on 4 shafts, but not the, yes, it's 8 shaft for the animals that I'm doing. However, and actually, overshot was done for years on 4 shafts, so you can do that on a 4-shaft loom. However, not the bunnies. You could do some little patterns, some other things too. Otherwise, you'd have to use a pickup stick to do the patterns. So I hope that answers your question. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what happens if you don't use the tabby. Now hopefully you can see down here. I'm going to wait till my camera. All right. Now down here are some little kind of, looks like little blobby things. What I did was I took brown thread and I literally wove my bees without putting any tabby in between. Well, to me, they look like little teddy bears with wings. So what happens is you can't see the whole effect. Of course, I didn't use all the colors because I just wanted to kind of see what happened on that. So that's what happened. I had these little teeny tiny things. Then what I often do is I like to weave, because this is going to be either a table run or a towel, and this is the background color. So if you saw in the picture or in the beginning, this is one of the shuttles. So what I do is the background color. This happens to be a hand-dyed warp, and I also hand-dyed the yarn that goes with it. Not necessary, but it's what I did. This pattern, this is on a 6'2" cotton. The patterns that I sell and I actually do sell the patterns are based on 8'2". So you'll have a few more little critters on there. So what I do is I already wove up about 5 inches, and now I'm going to advance the warp, because now we're going to start doing the bee pattern. Now the bees, let me go into my book here. If you haven't seen them, I don't have any of them that are finished, so guess what? You're not going to see any finished bees. I hope this isn't too shiny. I'm going to see if it is or not. These are just a little sample of some of the bees that I do. And then this is the other pattern. And what I basically do is a draw down. Oh, I don't have it on that side, so you can't see it. But it has like little numbers, it ties up and everything. But I don't usually keep this in front of me. I tie up the treadle in a certain order. I'm not going to go into all those details, but that's something I do. Then what I do is I make myself a little cheat sheet. So this basically tells me what treadles to press, and it tells me that I'm doing the head, the wings, the body, and here's the bottom. Now, I'm going to start from the bottom up because, in this case, we're starting with the stinger of the bee. However, it's always nice to start with a little border. And the first thing I'm going to do, and I have my little note here, is that I'm going to press on the first treadle, and then I'm going to start with the border. In the pattern, when I tell people how to use it, I suggest using floating selvages. I don't like floating selvages, but believe me, I have to kind of catch the edge of the thread, but that's just me. All right, so I have the first border here. Now, and this is, like I said, 6'2" cotton. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to use a thinner yarn. This is an 8'2" cotton. It's a different shade of blue, and the reason why I like to use this is that you can see the animals a little bit better. On my Etsy shop, I'm not doing an event this month, so I guess I can say it loudly. And you can also send me a PM. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch over to a thinner yarn, and I'm going to weave tabby a little bit. And like I said, since I don't have floating selvages, I have to kind of forcefully wrap around the edge. I'm going to do 2 more, and that's up to you how many you want to do. I just like to have a little bit of a border. All right, so now I'm ready to start the stinger. And I'm going to press the first treadle. And this treadle is going to take me across. It's going to be kind of hard to see, so I usually beat this a little lighter because the beginning of that little stinger is a little harder to see. And then with an overshot, you follow it. I like to chase it. Not everyone does it that way, but I happen to chase my color. So I'm going to go across, locking that one in. Now I'm going to move on up to the next part of the bottom of the, I guess we'll call it honeybees. Honeybees are pretty popular right now. And actually the pattern came to be because I was at a show and a woman saw what I was doing and she said, "Can you weave bees?" And if you were part of WAFA last year, I posted a lot of different pictures asking people if they looked like bees. And apparently the first ones I did looked more like yellow jackets, apparently to some people. All right, so now we have the very bottom of the bee. And again, I have everything tied up a certain way, so it's doing what it's supposed to do, and I'm following my cheat sheet. Now, this is where I'm going to introduce another shuttle. And this is part of the yellow, the striping. And this is where I'm going to press another one, and I always like to start on the same end that the tabby came from. This is kind of fun because I used to do embroidery, and you know, embroidery takes a long time. Imagine embroidering all these little bees. Well, I found this, and it's so much fun. It's kind of hard to explain to people who don't weave that I literally do not embroider the bees on. So we started with that one. Now I'm going to go to the black. So here's where you're kind of, you know how people juggle balls in the air? Well, right now I'm kind of juggling 3 shuttles at the moment. Yes, I can. I will, basically, I'm doing a demo here, so I suggest that you send me a message, or what I will do, anyone who's interested, I will send you a private message and give you information, a link for the pattern. So I do 1 black and 1 yellow. And then I'm going to, like I said, right now I have to catch that thread on the edge because I didn't put my floating solvages in. So that one. And now I'm going to come back. And this is where I have to make sure that I'm on the right. I'm talking and trying to weave at the same time. Those of you who do demonstrations, you know that can be a problem. Very easy to make a mistake that way. So let's see. Another. Okay, yep, I'm seeing those who are interested in the pattern link. Be happy to share that with you. All right, we got a yellow. Making sure I'm getting the right tabby now. Do another black. So a lot of people see me weaving fast. Well, in this case, you see where I don't weave real fast. You have to slow down sometimes to do certain things. All right, we have this one. Now I'm done with the yellow, and I am going to cut that one off. I happen to tuck it into the same shed, kind of put it in the back, and now I need to do another tabby. And now it's time for the wings. Sometimes I do the wings in silver, depends on the background, sometimes in off-white. Right now, it will, I'll show you how it looks in the white. Looks nice on this background. So I'm gonna, this time I have to press 2 treadles at a time. Sometimes when you do a pattern, if you have a table loom, it's probably a lot easier to do these kind of patterns. Here I had to figure out a way of not having enough treadles, so I have to press 2 treadles at one time to get what I want there. Now I'm going to keep the black here, and what I do with the black, again, this is just my way of doing it. It might not be the way that you like to do that. I just kind of wrap that along and I carry it along. Sometimes people put their shuttles up on the top of their loom. Sometimes I'm just going to keep it here for now. All right, so now I'm going to do, let's see where I'm at here. Next part of the wing. We're okay there. And cross. Let's see, where am I? Again, looking at, I have to do 2. And I'm going to catch the end there. But you can see how it would be a lot better if I, whoops, that's not the right one. We can tell that's not right. All right, so what happened here? Let's see what's going on. I have a feeling that I forgot to, this is 2. Well, let's see what happened here. This is where we go back to the book and see if I did not, wait a minute. There we go, that's what I wanted. I do have the right one. All right, got the 2 here. Now I'm, whoa, yeah. All right, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut this off. I am going to, again, wrap it around and pull it back to the back. And I have one more of this. I'm going to wrap it around that black one. And across. And now we're ready for the heads, the little bee heads. So we're going to start with, gotta see where my feet are under here. There we go. And here comes a little head of the bee. And like I said, I like to chase it, but what happens when I'm changing colors, I can't chase the actual color that I'm weaving. All right, so I have to do this again. You know what? I did the wrong one. Let's try that again. There we go. Okay. And this here. And of course, we have to have little antennae, don't we? All right, so now we're going to go to the little antennae. Well, we're almost there. We're one step away from finishing the little antennae at the top here. And one more. And we will now do some tabby back and forth. And if you, once this is washed, it shrinks up really nicely, and you can really see the bumblebees a little bit better. And again, if you use an 8-2 yarn, you're going to get smaller bees, just a little bit. Okay, now it's time to do the border. Yes, the warp is hand dyed. I do that because I'm kind of a production weaver in a sense. What I like to do is I get bored with the same color, and you know how when you thread a loom it takes a while? I dye the warp many different colors, so then I can have all different colors of bees, or I could do cats, I could do all sorts of things. So I have sections. I just finished the brown, now I'm on blue, I think there's green, and then the other nice thing is with this particular threading, all those little critters that I showed you earlier, I'll just show you, let's see if we can do, like I said before, the trees can be woven on the same threading, and that's another nice thing. As we know as weavers, that's something that, you know. All right, so now you saw that one. Now it's time to go back to doing some tabby. And of course, once I get to the other end, I'm going to have to weave the whole thing upside down. What brand yarn? I get some from a lady does called bulk buys. It's just undyed yarn. If you saw in the background here, I get 4-pound cones. You can get any kind of unmercerized cotton that you want to use in any color. The brand doesn't matter. What brand you use, just look for the size. And like I said, this happens to be 6'2". It looks a little more delicate in 8'2". I know I saw some of your questions. I haven't seen all of them. But what's fun about hand-dyed, you can kind of see that hatch going on. To me, it's like kettle cloth because this was also hand-dyed. Sometimes I do them to match and sometimes I don't. Yeah, it depends on what the mood is. Or, like I said, with the white, you don't have to. You can use some commercial yarns. And then this one, the wine glasses, this was not a hand-dyed warp. These were all and this was actually done on 10-2. I made this a lot more delicate in that sense. And this one I think might have been 8-2. I don't know if it was 8-2 or 6-2. I'd have to kind of investigate it. Yes, it's a lot of fun. And that's what's fun about, so if you're afraid to dye your warp, hey, maybe you might try it now. I think it's a little less expensive and more fun to do those things. Well, that is the end. I'm going to go back so you can see me again. That's the end of my demo. Didn't take a whole half hour, did it? You never know. You never know. Well, I guess I need to move the camera too so you can see me. Yeah, I ran out of bees. Actually, at the last event I was at, basically the bees literally flew out the door, I guess is what I should say. It was kind of fun. Bulk Buy Yarns. It's a Facebook page. You join it, and she does different, you never know what she's going to have. She doesn't always have everything, but she has tencel, silk. Again, I'm not associated with her. I'm not helping her out at all. That just happens to be what I like to do. And like I said, if you can see behind me, I get cones, you know, mumbo jumbo cones like this. So if you want big cones, this is what you get, 4 pounds. A lot of times they come that way, and you get a bunch of friends together maybe and try to put it in order. It's a lot of fun to get that again. And if you're doing plant-based fibers like cotton or tencel, it's cold water. For me, it's a lot easier than wool. It's a little more, well, more predictable or whatever. Just follow the directions if you want to get the color that you want. The biggest thing is to soak your yarn and basically massage the color into it. I've done some events on dyeing yarn as well, but I haven't done that for a while. So I have to come up with an idea for July. If anyone out there has any ideas, please send them to me. And I will say, yeah, make it look easy. I would like to know how many bees and how many critters I have woven. I think here you get about 20 some every time. So if I count all of them up and add them, I probably woven thousands and thousands of critters on that. But it's a lot of fun to see things happen. So I'll look through all the comments, and I will send those who are interested a link to the patterns. And again, if you're not a weaver, you know, we also have them already ready. Well, not yet anyway. Thank you so much for watching and enjoy. And my plan is to hopefully upload this to my YouTube channel, but it'll remain on WAFA. I usually allow it for 30 days and then it disappears. So that's my plan. And if all else fails, I'll redo it and record it again. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.